Hello, everybody. This is Sri Srinivasa for HTIF Academy. It's a very great pleasure and honor to meet you again. And of course, with our great Prabhu, who's got 30 plus years of experience in product marketing. And also, he's a great coach, mentor, and entrepreneur who provides his guidance to very many budding entrepreneurs. And also, as I mentioned, mentors people on some of the leadership skills, which are very important. And we have been doing this leadership series, and now we are doing a HTIF Academy, right? We just wanted to basically share our learnings, share our experience, and also bring from time to time experienced stalwarts. And one you can see in front of you, that is Prabhu. This is Sri Srinivasa, right? Very proud to continue our run of 550 radio shows from Stanford University in the last couple of years. Of course, 11 years. Then took a break in 2016. Then we are just reviving to just be useful and then create some good content. And also just pleased to be with you. So today the topic is going to be on value creation for customers. So, what exactly customer satisfaction means, customer care, everybody knows it. And then value creation, let's touch on that. And how do we revolve our business, our product, our life around customers? That's going to be an interesting discussion. It's just a casual chat, you can say. And we wanted to bring some of our experience and what we have learned as well. So if you have some comments, and thanks for joining today, please do share your comments and thought process in the chat. Would be happy to discuss that with you as well. So Prabhu, once again, without much ado, welcome to our program, and very excited to have another show with you for its diff.
Thank you. Thanks, Sri.
So what is so interesting about this topic for you?
It is very appropriate and timely for HDIF Academy to have this type of topic and at this time of the COVID. It's instead of terming it as for customers, here we are creating more appropriately the value for our listeners. So that's how I translate it into, because we have been conducting a lot of those, especially in your earlier avatar of HDIF 1.0. Right now it's HDIF 2.0. So here we are trying to focus more on the leadership, how as an employee, as a manager, or as a employer, what are we to be aware of happening around us. And especially a lot of us are in the customer servicing industry or customer facing industry, either selling products or services. And we explicitly or inexplicitly, we try to offer some value or help in creating value to the customer. And how that is important for the customers to come back repeatedly to buy your product or upgrade your product or services is the angle from which I'm looking at this topic. And having been in sales field and customer service field for last 30 years, it's against the philosophy which you believe in leads to this kind of value creation. And if you are a leader, you create that culture and that kind of process and discipline. Your employees and your field sales force or field service force give the same vibe to the customer, so that the customer feels that they get value out of the product or service you sell. Because we are in a competitive field, it's the same product or similar product with the slightest differentiation. So we are trying to get the customer's attention and You have to make the customer perceive that value in what you are offering. And that's where the whole thing revolves around. Yeah, that's my introductory thought on that whole topic.
Yeah, it's pretty good. Well said. Because this is like creating something of value, and then you just make the life easier for the customer, make it easier for the customer in terms of transacting with you, and share the product life journey with you, and also the fact that it is they can enjoy the product, they can refer you again, they could be repeat customers. So a lot of things. So my interest is everything. If you look at it, it's all a customer centric. It has to be, because for an organization to succeed, it one has to be a customer centric organization. And that is super important, because you get valuable feedback from the customer, and in terms of the value that is created by you through your product or service and whatnot. So unless you are open enough to listen to the feedback from the customer, you will not be able to improve, refine your processes or your product, and then get ahead of the competition. And I think you made a very good point, Prabhu, which I interested me, which is, you said when there are multiple products, similar products are out there, what is the true differentiator for you, so that people have to come to you? Why do I come to you? That is also $30. Yours is also $30, right? Then why do I come to you versus the other person? So the key differentiating factor could be the quality of the product, obviously, but the other thing is also is, in addition to quality, it's also the customer service, where I can trust your product. When I have a question, I will be able to reach out to you and get some help, and I can recommend this product to my other friend because I'm happy with this, right? So basically, the value creation starts right from in a customer centric mentality of your product or service. That's kind of my interest, and definitely is one of my very pet topic, because and I'll tell you more. I want to hear more from you as well.
Yeah. So when you are talking about customer, so you already know who is the target segment or the customer whom you are going to address, and what is this product you are going to sell, or solution service you are going to sell. So having been in the sales field for so many years, during my early days of my career, always I was trained to like position each of the products, especially not on features but on the problems it is going to address. So there you have to. So when you are trying to sell to a customer, you are understanding what problems they are facing, and what is the feature which you have in mind. How what is the what problem is it going to address for your customer, and what is the solution that is being given by using this product or service, and and uh, there what is the differentiator. So there are other products also trying to solve the same problem, and how are you going to differentiate? And it is the as you mentioned, it is not the price or the value doesn't mean it is a price or the numerical value attached to the product or the offering. It is the like what do you say, what is something the experience that you get out of the what is your offering, like as you mentioned, like accessibility, the
Yeah.
customer support, your customer support is available 24 or 24 by 7, or they're like right now some of the technologies what companies try to use, they use bots. So it is a customer experience. Like I'm always whenever I go to a certain website, there is a bot which says, I am Stephen, can I help you? So there you are typing your customer number and you get some feedback. You type in what is the problem, and it throws out some solution. So a lot of these might be automated, but there is some technology behind it. why are you trying to employ those things? You are trying to make the customer experience
Hmm.
better,
Hmm.
so
Yeah.
that he sees value in whatever you are offering. So, in summary, you are trying to address a customer, certain segment of a customer, and you are trying to address a certain problem of theirs, and it is going to provide the solution to the problem, and it is going to position yourself as a key differentiator in offering that product or service to that target segment, and so that it stands out, it reminds him always, and he comes back to you. Otherwise, if he has a bad experience, or he doesn't perceive that value, he is going to walk away, he's never going to come back, he's going to badmouth your product or service.
Right, right. So yeah, totally. So in this case, instead of just saying, you give the customer what they want, rather than that you're selling out or just trusting the product on them. So the value creations, one of the mantra is basically the personalization of the touch points. So, in fact, I read a book about hug your customers, which is very thing I wanted to bring it up. It's a fantastic book. I would strongly recommend that because I loved that book. This is done by Jack Mitchell, right? And he's the CEO of Mitchell's, right? Mitchell's and Richards Marsh, and actually, I think Wilkes Bashford. I hope I pronounced the name correctly. So one of the things is he talks about is called hug your customers. The question is, when you talk about hugging a customer, I mean, of course, you can't do that right now with the current situation. I mean, the question is, you can maybe virtual hug. It's more like, you create a touch point with the customer, and you meet and greet them. You respond to every email that the customer sends. That means you are responsible that somebody is answering and respecting my email. And then also when get a very clear phone call system, phone triage, where they can just reach out to and say press 1, and then press 2, 3, 4, and then free, instead of saying like 15 options, but you immediately the customer service was fantastic in some cases, where immediately within 3 rings I always feel good, and I tell them, thank you for taking my call so quick. I never expected that, right? And some people scare you about, oh, it's going to take 40 minutes on the line, but sometimes they come very quickly. Anyway, the point is, he says in the hug your customer, you have different mechanism in which you get to know your customer. In short summary, is hey Peter, how are you? Hey Sundar, how are you? Right? Okay. Hey, Meena, how are you? So the question is, they know, let's like take Starbucks as an example. They will remember your name and then say, they won't even ask the second time because they would like to know your name and things like that. And so in is part of this journey, he says, he was talking about his experience in the clothing industry, right? In terms of his, I believe his dad, like even 90 plus years old, used to go with a tape of measuring tape, and then goes and says that I'm going to create a value for somebody. So I'm not going to sit there. And so they just know, hey, what happened? Your company's stock price has gone up by 10%. Congratulations. They get to know them very personally. Hey, by the way, this is looking good on you. So you feel recognized. Hey, how are you, John? What's going on? Right? Hey, Shiva. Thank you. So that kind of a personal touch is something called hug your customer, because as part of the customer centric organization and not a product centric organization, even though you want your product to sell. So one other thing he goes on to say, that is coming from not just the salespeople, not from the marketing people. It is, the front desk. It comes from the finance, the order operations, the other supply chain. Everybody, whenever they have an interaction, they would like to make sure they get into, they know the customer, and just get to the floor where the customers are. And such a beautiful examples that was given, and I really felt good about that, and I just wanted to share that. So it's personalization. It's just like there are different approach for different customer. Some people are so sensitive. Some people feel like they don't like you explaining a lot of things because they think you're arguing with them. Some people want babysitting. Let me explain to you. These are various options, and we'll show you. Means, oh my God, this guy is really taking care of me, and what is interest in me, and me using their product and things like that. So just thought sharing that.
Yeah, thank you. So when you talked about the Starbucks example, so I know somebody who is very familiar in creating a lot of these type of apps for with mobile based apps, which is kind of consumer based
Hmm.
outlets
Hmm.
where when you walk in, based on your phone uh, availability in that network, like you're already registered because you have a, Starbucks reward card or something, and they know when you're in the radius of 3 miles that like Prabhu is available in this retail. Let me send a alert that there is a
Correct.
special like a coffee or a drink on the house. So then, if you have time, then you tend to go to that place and you
Right.
avail of that. And when you walk in and when you are going near the cash counter, then they say, "Hello, Mr. Prabhu, you're valued customer, and you have been with us for so many years, and thanks for your support." These kind of kind words, it kind of re-emphasizes their trust in you and your trust in you. But but with the Starbucks example, there's a funny side of it. Every time I have gone to Starbucks, I've try to spell my name because I try to experiment how they spell my last name, and every time they have uh, kind of come out with a different name. Then I also came to know that whenever they've spelled my name wrongly, it kind of I came come and share it on Facebook. Today's my episode with Starbucks. So indirectly, there is a article which I read. Starbucks does it purposely so that you end up sharing, even though they some of the names which they can share it, like they can spell it properly, they will do it, but they try to make it more jovial so that you are constantly giving that kind of attention. So here they are paying attention to you, though some people might take offense to it. I never took offense. I kept going to the same Starbucks for a certain reason because whenever I'm on the road, being on sales, if I'm closer to a client location or trying to go, waiting for to pick up my daughter or son from a class in the evenings, I try to go to the nearest Starbucks because of the value proposition that location offers for that specific time frame. But on a different time frame, I would have picked up a coffee from some other store,
Right.
just a plain coffee. All I need is a plain coffee. I'm on the road. I just need a plain coffee to refill. But my daughter, like we have three consumers in our own house. She likes to go to a coffee place which is trendy, which is like listed in some of the Yelp
Yeah.
reviews, and
Reviews.
she wants to try out for the additional stuff. But my wife wants to go to a certain type of they have a so she likes a certain offering from a certain type of coffee store. So even within our own household, there are three different customers or three different consumers. If we term all of put together all of us as one single bucket of customer,
Yeah.
and we are there is a three to four different aspects come, like what is the product they are offering and which place is offering it, what is the price they are offering it, and also what is the perceived value to that.
Correct.
So
Correct.
depending on the what that product is, the same coffee could be a $1 at McDonald's versus $4.50 at Starbucks, depending on what type of coffee you order. It is the same coffee, but the value addition is different, and you are ready to pay that kind of money for the ingredients
Yeah.
and also the benefit you are getting out of that.
It's what they say. It's an experience. They
Yes,
just don't want the products and services. They
yeah,
want the unique experience that you create, which they can't get elsewhere. and they wanted to be delighted at touch point. Like, so somebody is greeting me and trying to welcome me. It's like in restaurant, of course things are changing now, and say hello, welcome, and then they place you, and they'll get you some nice soft drinks for that matter. If you go to some Indian restaurant, they give you some nice soup as a freebie to make you, patiently wait, right? And then some folks offer, when the lines are long, they just come and give you some kind of chips and salsa for that matter. So it's basically they expect you to go an extra mile, and they want us they want the customer, they want them to be treated as better. So if you look at it, some of the things I was just looking for to get a world class support. I mean, even if you take airline, they always have the rewards points and miles and things like that. They reward. In fact, my father always say Lufthansa. He always brings some Lufthansa gear when I was a kid. I used to say, because he's a frequent flyer, they always reward him, they upgrade him in the first class. These are all great customer service where you surprise that person when they are not expecting.
Expecting.
The other
Yeah.
thing is, you treat them like they are like a diamond, precious. And of course, the tone of how you talk to them matters. And then, of course, as I see couple of things, like you also, it's a matter of treating your own employees, because there are internal customers and external customers. So one thing, Prabhu, we are talking about external customers, but internal customers is super important. And you treat the internal customers to so train them and coach them, or your sales, marketing, field personnel, so they go and treat the customer very well. So because it has to run through the whole organization at the end of the day. So if you see some great example, they say about, of course, there are companies which donate to charity, for that matter. In fact, Bill Gates Foundation, for example, right? Microsoft is a great name. Coca-Cola is another great example. And of course, we see the customer support, especially one of the things which I read about JetBlue. So they small gestures, upgrades. Of course, even United Airlines sometimes, they said, oh, if there are availability, you'll be put in the the executive class, for example, right? First class. And so those things. Tesla, that's another example of, one thing is you get the customer to come and pick up the car, but where Tesla said, you go and we will get the car to you, so you don't need to worry about the hassle of driving so many miles and coming to us. We will treat you right. So some customers welcome that approach as a red carpet welcome, or service, for that matter. Like, we come serve your car, for that matter. So there are a lot of examples we can see. And then one thing I read about is the Trader Joe, in the, of course, in the internet, where there was a aged senior citizen. One of I think his daughter said, "Oh, my father didn't have any food to eat and things like that, and I can't come. And can you guys deliver something?" They said, "We don't normally." She asked, apparently a lot of places they couldn't deliver. They called Trader Joe, and Trader Joe, what happened? They normally we don't deliver, but we will deliver everything. And then she gave a big list, I believe, and then that list was delivered with no charge on delivery fee. So that's a good gesture. So the question is, always think that this customer is not coming for just that one time. He's a repeat customer. That customer is the one who is going to bring the referral business for you. As you said, the positive vibes that you create, and he or she goes and talks to whoever it is, whichever age group they are belong to, and especially they do that. So the question is, yeah, that's super important, comes to my mind.
Yeah, Shri, you also brought out a very good point about internal customers versus external customers. So here, when we talk about internal customers, what comes to my mind, typically, your employees are your biggest internal customers. They consume your services or whatever the thing offerings you provide. So how do you create that kind of create the value for your employees? Basically, when you are in a product manufacturing environment or production environment, like most of the time, like if we are in the car production business, and like you give a like a first offering to your existing employees. So they buy the product maybe at a discount or some value attached to it, or some lease plan or something. Then they are your best ambassadors. Like this is done a little pre launch, before everybody gets it. Then they go out and they proudly flash the car or the product. And
Yeah, but there's one thing you have to remember, Prabhu, right? One thing, everybody's a customer, whether
yeah.
it's an internal customer or external customer. A customer is a customer because they need to establish the brand loyalty.
Mhm.
They need to establish the trust, and we are creating value for them, and
Mhm.
they need to you make a difference. And as you said in the first beginning, what problems are you solving? Even though a car example, or any product, it's like
Product,
it has got a value. So one thing which I read in governance in enterprise IT is, let's give a different example here. Internal customer, right? See,
yeah.
you are creating an ERP software application, or you are creating a supply chain application, or a B2B application, or a digital product. Because I work in all those environment, managing IT PMO as well, and also operational PMO. One thing we always do something called this is called scorecards. The scorecards is like a customer sat csat, or experience customer satisfaction, where you ask the customer, hey, how was my service? Can you rate me on how the person greeted you, how the person took care of you, how the person responded to your queries and stuff, how was the post service experience, post order experience? And then you get some quantifiable number, and then you attach it to the post delivery experience, or you can say post purchasing experience, whatever interaction. So like that, internally we just say in the scorecard, what I learned in Seagate is basically what is that customer expectation expected of you, and how far have you satisfied that customer. So you do a survey. Are we delivering in information technology the thing that you are expecting us to? You make your life easier in basically cost savings, in efficiency, in legal regulatory, in information security and whatnot. And the other thing is, what are your current skills that will cater to those expectations? Rather than you mentioning I did ABCD, they are evaluating you, so they are your internal customers. So you quantify and you see the how are you moving the needle. You see what I'm saying? So that is the internal customer experience, to see, yes, when I ask them with the prioritized requirements and the dependencies are there, you are meeting that expectations, or you are able to have a conversation. So it all matters with the engagement model between the business and information technology, or business and information security, or business and operations and information. It could be any combination. So the point here is, what I was saying about the internal customers is not necessarily a product. It could be service. Like you see, help desk. Always, they send you take care of your laptop or a mouse, or any queries, or I can't log in, and then they send you a survey and say, how did we do? Was the
Yes.
person able to understand your it happens even in the phone system, right? Yeah. So that is super important, to constantly hear your customer, understand their problem, to improve. Don't take it, because if you don't, they will go to the next customer. I'm sorry, next company, rather matter. The customer will belong to somebody else's customer.
Correct. Correct. Correct.
Yeah. So, dear listeners, we are talking about value creation for customers in terms of solving a problem, being personalized experience. Hug your customer. I like that term now, and also make it different and pleasant experience. No matter how the situation is, you need to deal with it in a better way, and keep your calm. And that's an art. That's a psychology. You need to be a psychologist as well. So that's all, a lot of training and experience that goes in.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, yeah, continuing with my thoughts on uh, value creation for internal customers.
Sure.
The companies, when they um, uh, hire people for certain positions, or there are new opportunities, or they are opening up new markets,
Yeah.
or they're launching, they are trying to engineer a new product. So they want to see who amongst the existing employees or the internal customers have that skill set, extra skill set, or experience, which the company has not used so far. and what is the value creation that person can bring in, and they give that opportunity first, like a right of refusal to an internal employee, a long timer, or people who have shown exemplary value and leadership. So then offer them that, and then if they none of the people qualify, then you go out into the market to hire for that position. So this
Mm.
kind creates a lot of transparency in what is your process when there these kind of opportunities you arise, and it is like it creates more motivation among the employees, and they develop a lot of trust, and
Yep.
it shows that you are also trusting them
Yep.
for whatever goodwill they have created for you, and that's best better way to appreciate them. And when you talk about appreciation, like instead of just saying, "Hey, you did a good job," if you can, as a manager or as a leader, you can go specific and telling, Shri, you did this great job in finishing this project on time. Specifically, you took care of this problem, and you solved these issues right at the initial stage itself. Then you are happy that your senior management is paying attention to what exactly you're doing, and they are aware of the specifics, and they are kind of very knowledgeable on what you're doing, and rewarding you with appreciation, or sometimes a token of a small gift, or a small getaway, or some kind of gift card or something.
Rewards. It's more like a recognition and a reward. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
And this also, what it will eventually lead to is a sense of attachment for the employees, and a sense of ownership that that person is, I am end to end responsible to deliver this product or service without any defects or products. And
Correct. Correct.
they will go any extent to protect the company and protect the company interests, and they will show the same transparency and honesty back to the company. And how this is going to translate is all this culture improvement is going to translate in how you are responding to external customer. Why I keep emphasizing the internal customers, these are the people who are going to be facing the, some of them will be facing the external customers, and each department is interconnected, and they are interdependent also. So if I am as a customer service, I'm facing the external customer and I'm getting some feedback. People are furious. If I'm not able to connect with the engineering and talk to them about this problem and get a what is the temporary solution, what is the long-term solution, then I lose the customer. So, like creating a good culture, good value, honest feedback system, which you talked about
Mm.
in terms of providing surveys and all those things, and for creating, for increasing the perceived value, improves the ecosystem internally, and in turn, it creates a very good ecosystem for what we deliver to the customer, and that shows in value definitely in what we deliver to the customer, and the customer is ready to pay that extra money for that, and it's again the repeat business. The
Correct.
value creation comes back to the company. So
It's a
again,
chain.
translate to more top line revenue to the company.
Yeah, that's very true, right? They say customer centric organization brings the loyalty, loyalty brings profitability, and that brings a extended long standing relationship. See, I remember, I think what apparently the great CEO Steve Jobs mentioned for Apple. Let's say when they come out with the product, they said the product has to look good on my hands first. So that means he puts himself as a customer. That means if he's, see, one of the good things today Apple is successful is because of what? Of course, features, but easy to work with. That's the main thing. You are making it easier. For example, even one of the I remember there used to be a lot of software systems where they wanted to check the customer's behavior, be a customer like an external person, and try to order a product, and you will know exactly whether that shopping cart is works or not. What apparently there are a lot of sensitive tools which can do that. So what happened apparently, you go to the catalog, you order a product, put it to the shopping cart, and then you hit the checkout button, and then you put your method of payment, and then at that time, when you're just trying to put your credit card, it goes in a loop. It never comes back. It again goes back to checkout. So they found out in the testing. So the question here is what I'm saying: you be a customer and test your product and get some feedback, and that's one thing. Second is you also pilot with certain smart customers who are very willing to work with you and be a guinea pig or some kind of a test customers to validate your product and service, and they're super happy. Have you seen forums for great companies? Let's say Oracle. Like say a lot of people they talk about and say in forum, they talk about hey, such a great product is or gaming, like I like this Nvidia stuff, I like this Sony, right? I like this all kinds of they talk about a lot of forums, and they give great feedback and what worked, what did not work. So the company needs to really not only the internal customers, which is very good we are talking about, and also um, aware of what's happening in those such forums, understand what the customer's thinking is, what are they talking about our company in the blogs, in the Facebook, and all social networking, LinkedIn, and then carry and take that feedback back to the R&D to make them improve, right? So both are important. The internal customers, totally, you're absolutely right. The external customer is there are multiple ways, because why are we talking now about this? Because things are changed. You're not even meeting your customer now. You're ordering online. You see, I even heard a news item which is saying it has increased 40 to 50% for a lot of companies where everybody is going into online shopping and online ordering and come and pick up or shipping free. We talked about it in one of the programs earlier in branding, and also in the last program on leadership with Vijay. So if you look at it, and personal branding, and of course product branding, right? So the thing is, you don't get to see your customer. That means you got to really pay a lot of importance in terms of creating value for your customer, and hearing the feedback, funneling it back to your R&D, and make it easier for them. If you do that, you will be able to capture the value. In fact, I have to credit Harvard Business School for that, Professor Kareem Lakhani and team, and Parker, David Parker's, right? And, the thing is, it's super important, the value creation and the value capture. Then there's a profitability and royalty. Okay, referral brings a lot, because the cost of acquisition of a customer is much more, right? But if you do that job very well, the cost of retention comes down, and the repeat business goes up also. It all depends on how you hear your customer, and it okay. You know what? Be honest. As they say, be honest. Yes, mistakes happen. I think I read Prabhu in
Mhm.
one time where one of the, I think it was Adobe. They say
Mhm.
that the customer complaints before they came, they went and said, "Oh, we have a problem, and we will set it right." And people even forgot the actual problem. They started commenting on some of their emojis and stuff like that was put in. That's kind of what I read. So it's very interesting. And then say, especially it's super important. I'm coming back to that point right now. You do not know who is the customer. You don't get to see them. You don't get to personally know them, their likes and stuff like that. That is where there is another topic which I want to bring here, but I want to hear your feedback. And it's super important to run a lot of data analytics.
Yeah, thank you. So I want to pick on your point where you mentioned a lot of customers or customer deliveries or product being sold through online portals. So I've read somewhere that if within 3 or 4 clicks, you are not able to find your product. And I think I've mentioned this in some of our earlier shows also. You will abandon that site. You will not come back and search
Abandoned
and
shopping cart. Uh-huh. Mm.
abandon the shopping cart. So now there are a lot of tools which these portals are offering, where they they are trying to focus on how to um, prompt you, or if you are searching for a certain keyword, how to prompt you with certain, already the using whatever is the search technology, throwing up the various different options for with the first few letters what you type in. And also sometimes even after all this search technology, you pick the product, then suddenly you figure out something, there is a particular type of payment system, or something which you liked, or then you figured out the shipping cost was too high. Then you abandon the cart. There are techniques by which some of the companies I know, they really do a lot of analytics on the abandoned shoppers,
Yes.
like abandoned the
Right.
shopping cart people, and go back and target them. There is a retargeting that you can do.
Yes.
That itself, instead of going and attacking new customer, as you said, the cost of acquiring new customer is going to be higher. These people have already come to your site. They have experienced certain kind of experience. uh, like you would go and analyze, as you said, to re-emphasize your point, like whether this person is you see repeatedly certain people are on a certain screen, they are abandoning the purchase and going. So you need to go and fix the problem, like experiencing yourself, like putting in the shoe of the customer, and make sure that that experience is good and value creation is done perfectly, so that they come back to you. Because it is also mentioned that 40 to 50% of the business is through repeat customers. So once you have acquired a customer, it is very bad that because of your customer service and not adhering to the customer feedback, you lose that customer.
Yeah.
So that is very important in especially when we talk about digital transformation,
Right.
and there is a lot of like no personal contact, or you are not visiting the store,
Right.
or making it convenient for the customers
Yeah.
to come back again and again.
So I think digital transformation the companies are talking about, I think is a very good point. We are kind of moving our segment into data analytics, right? Business analytics, which is where you know about your customer, what have they bought, how long they have been your customer, and then what have they purchased, what are they inclined to purchase, how many times they are on their website. So all these information on data analytics and data science, that's where data science plays. In fact, I would do a special session on data science, one of the things, because in HBAP, which is a Harvard Business Analytics program, that's exactly what we did. And I would love to talk about how it is useful in this digital innovation, how companies are doing this, being a disruptor in the market, getting to know your customer. And something interesting, they use predictive analytics, Prabhu, to just get to know this is what the customer is going to buy. And some customer, they don't think like intrusion of privacy. It's like this, right? My wife tried to shop for a bag, and then when I go to the website, it just prompt me. So we are smiling at each other. I said, what did you look for something? Sometimes the privacy, that's a separate topic also, but some people like it. Oh my god, you know me very well. I say, hey, like, and then the other. So this is called a recommender system. The recommender system is something. You say, hey, Prabhu watched movies, or Netflix. You can take an example. Prabhu watched a couple of movies of, like it could be a James Bond movie for that matter, right? A Sean Connery, right? And then Prabhu also watched some comedy movie, for example, right? And then okay, so Shri is going to watch. Shri also watched Sean Connery. Maybe hey, these guys like similar movies. Then you say, hey, how about that the comedy type? You know what I mean? So that means we are a group now. So like that, they go and hunt around and then say, you like those recommendations. So that's also will go into, hey, that somebody is really working hard to get to know you, your taste, your likes, and what did you like, and how much time you spent on something. It's like YouTube. If you watch something, suddenly you get some prompting and say, "Hey, there is an upcoming show." How do you know? They do a lot of analytics behind to get to know. And some people, they likes they like such kind of stuff to have the things recommended for you, because it's like they care for you. And then you said, I mean, people should not think, oh, okay, it's all about online shopping. It's not that. See, one interesting, funny thing I read in one of the Bloomberg, I think, podcasting, or one of the audiobooks in Audible. They were talking about when in those days means pre-COVID days, when you go to a restaurant, they greet you and give you something we talked about, right? When they bring the check, what they do is they bring the tray with the receipt, and then they put couple of chocolates there, and then they just give it to you. You know what they said? They found out 7 to 14% increase in the tips that was given by the customer, just by
Right. Putting
giving them with putting some couple of candies here. Hey, you care for me. You're giving me something. I'm going to give it to you. It's a simple gesture. It's always not something you ought to give a lot of things free. It's just a nice way you talk, you greet, you ask them, hey, how is the food? You know what I mean, right? And then here also you give this such an interesting research that they have done, where they found it has got a great impact. So the point we are trying to say is every customer is important. That's a summary. And then a personalized effect is good. You can hug your customer, which virtual hug, by the way. Don't get me wrong. And then get to know them. Everybody in the organization need to know. Make it a customer centric. As you said, Prabhu, internal customers are super important. Okay, right? And then the clicks is super important, as you mentioned about, because make it easier for them to transact, which is called usability experience. A lot of people, they do usability study also, right? Yeah, that's it's pretty very interesting. It's such a wonderful topic, and knowing the customer's mindset, mood, behavior, touching, and it's all gone right now. People write letters. I heard one of the companies, they write letters to every email, will get response. I forgot the name of the company. They said every letter gets a response. I think Zappos. That's what I read on the internet.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So,
So yeah.
so one more way, normally the companies try to be closer to a customer and try to increase the perceived values, like creating customer clubs and user groups. Being in the software field, all of us are very familiar with user groups. Each of the major software companies have, and normally some of the bigger companies, they conduct two types of events. One is like where they do a product launch and a kind of new product announcement, and what is inviting their partners and all the value added resellers and all those things. And another is they kind of take a back seat. The user group drives another event where the customers or the people from the same fraternity, they meet each other, they exchange a lot of information. There are a lot of tracks in terms of how they've used that product effectively, what are the new solutions, what are the typical problems they have faced, and how they have resolved it. So, and if you observe very closely, most of this are attended very sincerely by the product engineering teams and the product company senior management themselves, because those give rise to what need to be as a roadmap, what the customer is expecting out of your product or solution, and where it is going to take. What is the convenience they are expecting? What is the new feature they're expecting to solve a different kind of problem. And some of the user groups are so powerful because sometimes the product companies discontinue certain versions of certain product, but the fraternity is so big, they tell like they give a kind of reassurance to other customers who have adopted not adopted to the this version, new version or the upgraded version,
Mm.
uh, that they are as a fraternity they will help this product still to be supported. And this is especially, you would have, I don't want to name the product, especially happening when a lot of mergers and acquisitions
Right.
happen, and some of the product might get overshadowed by the company which is acquiring it. And a lot of time the user groups are so powerful, uh, the main company which has bought the other product cannot do away with, or cannot ditch that product for quite some time, because user groups are powerful. So it kinds of adds may the thing to the point that you are your valuable feedback and the customer uh, like experience is continued by this
Yeah.
even though it is a extended service which is not directly from the company, but a group which is supported by the company, by the brand name. And this lot of very big brands try to cultivate and support these kind of activities everywhere, and they sponsor such activities. And this happens in software, it happens in like bike riding clubs, like where people, some of the bigger brand bikes, people go on expedition trips. These are all very branded, and people wear similar like clothing, similar helmets, and they are they want to project themselves as a group of people supporting that kind of a bike or that kind of a car. So, and they meet
Yeah.
once a week or once in 2 weeks, and it's all branding associated with branding and perception that you get out of that
Yeah.
product.
Totally the perception. And also, one thing I would like to add here is the retention of the customers is such a super important, because it is taking a lot of acquisition costs are much more to get take a lead to a customer, right, and then keeping them and use them to refer. Right, we have also seen in many cases where we don't do marketing expenses, in where the referral takes care of that and it reduces the chunk. So another thing they say, you need to prioritize your operational metrics and sats, rather than the organizational stuff, because the operational thing is where it's closer to the customer. The other thing is, of course, put people, train them, coach them constantly on handle escalation management, which is so super important. And also one thing is, the customers are like, they are have a life cycle. The life cycle of the customer is, there'll be some interest. The interest will become, meaning an awareness creates an interest, right? And then the interest becomes, really become a true customer. And then they just, it doesn't die down, they come back after some time. So one of the best methodology is to regain touch with your old customer also, and then offer some freebie, offer, invite them to the launch event, for example, as you mentioned, right? Or some new product, software releases that you get, and then say, hey, by the way, we want you to try it out, or let your friends know, right? Even I'd say all these mortgage companies and all, they come up with different types to get a customer. So you just refinance your mortgage, and then you don't keep quiet, you shop around after 6 months or 1 year to work at a better rate. So all these, I'm not sure, the mortgage company, they just don't take it for granted, they just don't offer anything. In fact, when one of my recent experience, they just know that a lot of people are refinancing. I just get an email, oh, for returning customers we offer a better rate. You know what I mean? The question is, returning customer is not somebody who left this organization to, meaning this company, to somebody else. But I've never seen the same company sending an email to the customer and then say, hey, we have better rates, if you, in case we know your hardships, we would like to help you. I've not seen a customer service like that. This is really, I was really appalled by that situation. Why are you, don't try to, you don't do nothing, huh? But when they go to somebody else and they say, "Oh, we'll offer great value for you," dude. What were you doing when I was your customer? That
That's
is
right.
what, what. Once when they know they is going out of their hands, then they just suddenly get into. See, that is that's kind of the attitude. So you need to be proactive, not reactive. You see what I'm saying, right? And then social media presence these days, it's such a boon, I would say, because people, they use social media constantly. They market, and also if you see, I don't want to name names here, but they always do a lot of radio commercials and stuff. They are actually selling a product, but they will just talk about with a community angle of about creating an awareness on virus and cold and flu and all these things. You need to take a preventative measure. By the way, yeah, we can offer some guidance, it's okay. After all, everybody's doing business at the end of the day. So it's like, you show you care. And that is what is people they expect the personal touch. So these days, dear listeners, thanks for joining, by the way. And we wanted to make sure, dear listeners, the program we do is of value to you. Me and Prabhu are really chartered in this territory to bring some value based programs, which is educational, informational. So if you are listening out there, you can wanted to share your comments and feedback. You can put it in your chat, or you can email it to us to itsdiff@gmail.com. itsdiff at gmail.com is our email address. And also, if you have speakers, we have topics of suggestions, please do it. I created a poll in our Facebook page. Itsdiff. If you are on a Facebook user, just check Itsdiff page. We have created a poll on, asked for a quick survey with the three options you can just select. Again, we wanted to stay closer to you, our audience base, do something which is useful for you, and at the same time, it's like a network, it's a platform, it's like a group, right? We share, we care. So it's interesting, Prabhu. I mean, it's such, we can go on forever on this particular topic. So, but it's my pet topic, by the way. Any final thoughts you have in mind?
Yeah. So we have last 1 hour we were discussing extensively on details on how and where and when we increase the customer value. So to put it in a mathematical equation, customer a lot of research has been done, and a lot of books and the authors have been, or they've arrived at a kind of a mathematical equation where they are talking about customer value is equal to the benefits divided by what is the cost or the price people pay for it. So where the benefits, for example, I wanted to recollect what you mentioned about the Apple example sometime back, a few minutes back, where you say usability, the friendliness and the
Yeah.
ease of like the UI and the touch screen and all those things. So those are the parameters or the various different aspects. The more it has also been found out that more the number of such offerings or parameters which a product or service has to offer, then the value the customer perceives is 20 to 30 times more than a product or service which is offering only one differentiator. So if you are attacking about 7 or 8 differentiators through your product, and that is provide like giving that perceived value to the customer,
Yep.
you are going to get in return 20 times more value
Yep.
from the customer is going to perceive 20 times bigger value in what you are offering than if you are trying to have only one differentiator from a competing product. So even mathematically and scientifically, these studies have proved that this is an organized way, this is a process driven way, how an engagement has to be carried with the in engaging the customer, and so that the top line increases and it's again an improvement back into your system.
Yeah,
So
very true.
thanks for giving me the opportunity as always, and for being part of your show.
No, thank
Thank
you, Prabhu. Thank you. That's a value proposition we are bringing. It's like a give and take, right? We share what we learned, and then we both join together and today's show to do this. So anyway, customers are the foundation of our business. So we need to create a customer centric organization. The culture in every organization should be customer focused, and right from not just the sales team, marketing team, it's the field team, it's the back office team. Everybody should have that mentality, and you need to wow your customer, as they say, and also hear the customers constantly and see how I can improve my product or service in my organization, and to create a brand loyalty, because when I do a brand loyalty, that brings profitability and that brings a long term effect. And that means by creating value for the customers, you are will be able to capture value. So once again, if you're listening to this show, It's Stiff Academy presents this show week after week. We have It's Stiff podcasting. You can just go to Apple Podcasting and look for ITSDIFF, which is short for It's Different News, Views, and Music Show. And we do music shows as well, but this one is a leadership show. Go for It's Stiff. And then on Google Podcasting also you'll find, or you can find it on the Spotify as Sri Srinivasa. You will find it there. Once again, thank you for joining, and please do tell your friends. You can subscribe to our show and share it with the friends and family, and stay safe. And still there is a shelter in place for most of the places. You got to make sure maintain social distance and take care of yourself. This is Sri signing off. Thank you, Prabhu, for
you. Thank you. Thanks, Sri.
thank you very much.